Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 98 of the Xbox Full Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And Keo.
Welcome, everybody.
As always, we're doing this show live on Twitch. Xbox Full Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, shitpost. We got anyone in the chat at the moment?
I've got Bulbasaur.
There we go. Bulbasaur's always a good one.
There you go.
Bulbasaur has set the... I mean, you hadn't typed yet, Allison. Allison's just wowing me now, which is fine. Bulbasaur has set the personal goal of finishing Vampire Survivors before the end of the podcast.
That should be relatively straightforward, considering I think you only need about 30 minutes to do it, if that. Yeah. Depending on if you're talking about the latest update. Although I was playing that, and for some reason, I started it because I was like, oh, cool, I'll just get the update done. And then I leveled up the first time, and the game was just like, yeah, you can't pick an option, and the game's kind of frozen. Like, things are still moving in the background, but you can't. Anyway, I'm going to figure out what the fuck's going on with that, because I want to get that game done. I got to be honest, people, love Vampire Survivors, and I still just do not get it.
Yeah, okay.
People are addicted to gambling.
I kind of get it, because it's like, oh, shiny thing happen.
Based on your previous work experience, you should be the one person who gets it.
Oh, I understand why it's compelling. I just don't understand why it's so popular.
Yeah, okay.
But whatever. I guess people like idle clickers and stuff, so it's just kind of more of that. I don't know.
I don't know. Shane has some pretty mean setups. Having a look at some of the stuff he's been doing with it before, so.
I mean, like, not to say there's no skill involved, or it's just like there's nothing to the game. I definitely think there's stuff there, but I don't know. It's not.
It's an interesting genre.
Yeah. This week we've got a fair amount of news to get through. Some smaller stuff. It's been a little bit quiet, and then we've got we've been playing a couple of games. We've been eating good these last couple of weeks. It's been great.
Yes, very good.
But first, I suppose we'll get into our community question from our good friend Isaac, who posted the question nice and early because he's on a big long flight back to Japan. And he says, hey guys, I used to be really into the Assassin's Creed series until Assassin's Creed 3 ruined the game for me. I held out hope that they'd bring it back, but they kept moving further away from what made it good, so I gave up. Have there been any games that you really loved but had to stop playing for whatever reason, and what would bring you back to playing them again? I saw a trailer for Assassin's Creed Mirage, and it looks fantastic. If I had the time, I'd love to give that franchise a shot again. Thanks for taking my question. Thank you for asking, Isaac. We greatly appreciate your support of the show. Who wants to go first? What do you get? Who's got something?
I mean, I can talk to the Mirage, but I can't really think of one that I've stopped.
Well, I mean, Assassin's Creed is a perfect example, right? Because there are just so many games that I haven't been able to catch up, at all. I did the Black Flag twice this year, the stacks. I'd already done the multiplayer. I did them years ago, and then jumped in and did both stories concurrently, the 360 one and the one version of Black Flag, just one of it after each other or at the same time, kind of working them out together. So I actually had a good time with it. But I
love Black Flag, but
it was really good. Rogue, I think, is a much better game. It's more akin to Mirage in terms of what kind of game it is, I guess. I don't know. I haven't played Mirage.
The scope is kind of tighter on.
Exactly. It's just a very focused play style, or Liberation or something like that. But my answer to this would basically be the fact that Microsoft have made their Gears of War and Forza games legacy games. Anything in the past that's before the current one, it's a real major problem. You try to do anything in some of the earlier games, or if you try to talk to them about the early games, they're like, sorry, we can't support this because it's a legacy title. It's but everything should be current. You're trying to bring new people into Game Pass. You want to play the legacy of the games. You're drawing people in that have never, ever played your games before, and you're calling them legacy. You don't want them to play these games.
I mean, they still sell them. They still run the online service for them. It's not like they have put out a remaster or remake for all of those games. I mean, Gears of War 1, sure, but not 2 or 3, not Judgment for sure, Yeah, I'm with you on that.
The only games that can come to mind are games that I really want to play, but I can't because I need to rely on co-op partners. And I'm going to take this opportunity once again to call out Brad, because I do think that Remnant 2 will be my game of the year. But I cannot confer that until we actually play Remnant 2.
All right. Yeah.
So if you don't play the game, is it going to be your game of the year if you don't get to it?
We're gonna do the game of the year list, but there's gonna be like a big fat stipulation on it that
Yeah.
this is where I would have put Remnant 2 if I had played it.
You've got a Royal Rumble situation where he just comes in at the last minute and just clotheslines whoever's taking out everyone and just steals the belt.
Because if I play it solo, it's not going to be as enjoyable. And that's
look, I'll play it with you. It's fine. We can
we can do it. We'll give him like 2 more weeks.
Yeah, look, FOMO exists for a reason. You need to give him a reason to come and play it. And if you guys are done, then you have a chance to rub it in, right?
That's true. That's true. I mean, like, he said he was waiting for a sale, which I think is fair enough. I think we've got Black Friday not too far away.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be the make or break point to see if it goes on sale there. I've got my eye on a few things as well. Obviously, I've been talking about Resident Evil 4 being kind of a bit of a spot that I missed earlier this year. Definitely want to get into that.
I've seen a few sales for $50, and I'm like, just gonna wait a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But
but do you have any other examples, Cameron?
I can't think of any games that like I've loved and just stopped playing. Like if I loved it enough, I'm gonna see it through as like much as I can.
Yeah.
I can't think of any recent examples, and like I jump around that much, so this question isn't great for me.
This one's an interesting one for me because I tend to try and play most things, right? But there are definitely series where I've kind of bowed out. Gears is like Keo said, is a fantastic example of like I played 3, got like the seriously achievement is all I have left to do in that game, and I don't think I'll ever do it. Just because it's just a huge disrespect of my time.
Yeah.
No, it's just so not like if I literally have nothing else to play, maybe, but even then, and then also the bullshit with Judgment, and the social life achievement and stuff just really, really soured me on the whole series. And like 4 and 5 did nothing to pull me back in, which is a shame because I love like Gears of War 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's so fucking good.
Gears is weird because I do want to do it with people, but I do not want to touch. Like to me, I just want to do everything, but seriously.
Yeah, like I think that I think the games. I think this is where being an achievement hunter kind of falls down. Unfortunately, right? Is that there are some experiences out there, that are like, yeah, this would be great to play more of, or I'd like to, like this definitely be good for an experience, but not for the long haul. And unfortunately, it's like, well, the position that we're in, if you're a completionist, or if you're a little bit OCD on that kind of stuff, it can be quite difficult. I mean, and looking at things like Wolfenstein 2, for example. If I thought for 5 fucking seconds, I never would have played that game.
It becomes more a conversation of skills then.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely a level of that as well, right? Like it's the same reason I haven't played a Devil May Cry game in a long time. I really enjoyed the DMC remake that they did. But and I own 4 on the 360. I will need to finish it at some stage. But like I didn't pick up the remaster collection. I didn't pick up 6. Oh, sorry, 5. 5 rather. Sorry, not 6. I didn't pick up 5. Ninja Gaiden is also similar. Like I played Ninja Gaiden Black originally when it came out on the original Xbox, and I own 2 and I own 3, but like I didn't do the Razor's Edge versions of it because I'm just like the games just aren't for me anymore. I hit that skill ceiling pretty hard. Need for Speed is probably another good example. Like if you look at my tag, I played a lot of the old 360 ones. Like I did the original Most Wanted, I did the Most Wanted remake, I did the original Shift, but I didn't do Shift 2. So it's like I kind of hit my skill ceiling on those car stuff pretty quickly. But it's like I haven't played one since probably it was Hot Pursuit probably was the latest one, I think. The 360 version, which I still haven't finished.
Yep. Yeah.
I just thought of one. Sea of Thieves.
Oh, I was just going to say that too. So I'm just like, the fact that like the things that were relevant to this question are that you've got a soured experience. Like I can think of the games that I haven't played for a very long time that I need to go back to, like some of the Tomb Raider stuff, Resident Evil, but they're all like, oh yeah, this is really good, I want to go back to it. But Sea of Thieves, it's just like they're killing off features and not changing like entitlements and all that kind of stuff, and like, well, yeah.
Forza Horizon 2 was one for me back in 2014 when my save file just glitched. and I was like 200 hours in. I had to start again, and didn't have fast travel or anything like that.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, it's only ever been a situation where if it's like a very grindy game and something's glitched in me and I just haven't gone back to it.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of somebody else's example right now, but not my own. And that would be Alex with Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
Yeah, so I was actually, Call of Duty was probably the next thing I was thinking is that, like, Advanced Warfare was the last Call of Duty that I played for a long time. And it was actually, again, like the whole zombie stuff was something that I really did not gel with me, especially with the way they did all the DLC and stuff. Like zombies was just not the reason that I enjoy those games at all. And I had to be dragged kicking and screaming through it by many, many much more skilled people. Huge shout out to Kiku and to Shadow Sly and a bunch of other people who really helped me get through a lot of that stuff.
I'm right here. And you
Mate, you died just as much as I did. I don't
whatever. Whatever, bull.
I mean, look, you were there. You definitely helped.
There's some kind of camaraderie by being dragged along the floor together.
Exactly. Yeah. Some of those. But like that's the reason. Like Advanced Warfare was the last one I played. I did both versions of it, but it was like I didn't do Infinite Warfare. I didn't do Black Ops 3 or 4 or World at War. No, sorry, no. What was it? World War 2. Vanguard, Cold War. Like I haven't played. I did the Modern Warfare remakes because they didn't have zombies, and it was pretty much all campaign except for a couple of Spec Ops things, which wasn't too bad. But yeah, that kind of focus on zombies and like the ridiculousness of it, and kind of wasn't really what I was there for. And the focus on it kind of made me go, not for me anymore. I'm interested to see where Modern Warfare 3 goes, but now with this whole Warzone stuff and kind of how that sort of spun off into something different. I also totally agree with Isaac around Assassin's Creed 3. That game is a fucking nightmare. That game is essentially interesting. It does, yeah, it definitely does. But it is completely the wrong setting for that kind of game. The forest stuff didn't work. The main characters were bad. You go from bustling cities. I mean, shit. Like you go from like Rome and Florence. To like
out in the back
houses.
of the woods and
it's like woods and like single level houses out on the harbor, and it's like, I mean, even I don't know, like, and like I like 4 a lot, but the thing is, I mean, and spoilers for a game that's ancient, the fact that they kill off Desmond at the end of 3 was just the dumbest fucking thing they could have done. Like seriously, because that like meta plot of like them tying everything together was the thing that was keeping me in the third game, was like those sections where you play as Desmond, where I was interested to get to that next part. And then they basically shot themselves in the foot, didn't realize how to write themselves out of the fucking hole they have. And they still haven't fixed it.
I believe it was, I don't know his name, but the guy that was basically doing all of that stuff, that had control of the plots and stuff, basically was the person to kill Desmond off. And then and then the rest of the team was like, well, what do we do with this? And they had to make up new plot points and stories to kind of like, so he shot them in the feet. So
I'm sure it was probably a case of him being stubborn and just like, no, it's going to end at this, and this is where we're going to leave it. And
and it definitely did not. I mean, shit, the 4th game was like, oh, hey, we dug up Desmond's body and we're using his DNA for this pirate shit. And then after that, they were like, oh, yeah, Syndicate? Yeah, we just don't even worry about it.
I'll be honest, though. I don't really care for Black Flag either. And I think a lot of it comes down to I love the architecture and that in most of the games. 4 is just as much of a miss to me than 3, and I don't care for the naval stuff.
I love 4, but it is not it's not for the Assassin's Creed stuff. It's all for the naval combat and the pirate lifestyle stuff and like going around the Caribbean and shit. I love the
Which is why day 1 you're going to be playing Skull and Bones, yeah?
Well, I would have if they brought it out, like a couple of years after 4. But I mean, the fact that Skull and Bones is probably going to come out after the 4 remake is So I think Assassin's Creed is a great shout for that.
They just really need to turn. I mean, Ubisoft can do it, right? They've got Just Dance. They should just do another singing game. They already have one. They should just turn Skull and Bones into a singing game of just sea shanties.
Sea shanties,
and they'll be right.
I'd play that. That sounds great. Yeah, you have to do like the stanky leg, but
it's already had one rework.
The peggy leg.
So yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's any games where like the community's just been pissed off because of a developer decision?
Not usually. I mean, like,
I can't think of any off in my head.
it's mostly stuff that I wouldn't have played anyway. You know, like No Man's Sky was a whole one when that came out and things like that.
Oh.
But yeah, I don't know. I want to play Mirage. I'm interested in it because I like the old formula.
Yeah.
I will say, Isaac, if you do want to play Mirage, definitely try it using Ubisoft Plus. I would say at this current stage, I've been enjoying it, but I've also experienced a few glitches here and there. And it's stuff that I haven't had a single game crash, but I've been frozen in places. I've been frozen once today for like 10 to 15 seconds. And then I'm just like, yep, this is 100% going back to the menu. It kept playing, but then the frame rates in some areas are just very bad. But I will say this is like 5% of my experience compared to mostly having a good time. Very reminiscent of Assassin's Creed 2.
I mean,
which plays well.
Zach in chat says that's his favorite. I think I prefer Brotherhood technically, but 2 is also a close second.
The other thing that I really enjoy with Mirage 2 is you don't have any option. Like, you've got optional objectives and contracts. That's it. None of the main missions have optional objectives. I just want to go around being a badass.
Cool. Yeah, hey, that works for me.
Yeah. So my gameplay isn't limited. I can swap between both. Yeah. But yeah, I can't think of any other games off the top of my head.
I'm sure there are other ones that I'll think of as soon as we're finished recording. But yeah, I try to play as much as I can. But there's definitely series where I've kind of dropped off either because of performance of the sequels or because of, I mean, Assassin's Creed. I played all the Assassin's Creed up to Origins.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've done every single one except for I need to do the remaster of 3. But again, like Isaac said, 3 is rough. But I did Origins, and when I saw that Odyssey was more of that but bigger, I was like, I'm good. And then Valhalla came out, and everyone was like, yeah, it's even more. And then no one liked that, and I was like, okay, I'm super good. I'm pretty happy in that decision, to be honest.
I do have one example, but it's not going to be for any one particular game. Whenever it's a game with missables that I need to watch a guide for, read a guide for, I hate the fact that missables in games tear me away from the immersion.
I'm with you. I prefer like Cocoon, like I talked about last week, was like fantastic for
just
that.
Let me clean up.
Yeah. I think Control was probably another one along those lines.
Yeah.
Where you just ended up at the back end of the game just grinding out some extra little things.
I'm fine
Go and
with.
find the hidden skill points once you've done. But yeah, having to sit there through the story and have a guide the whole time. Like my favorite thing to read on a guide is, just enjoy the game for your first playthrough. I'm like, perfect. Great. Yeah. I'll do that.
That's what I want.
Yeah. All right. Let's get into the news. Again, thank you for the question, Isaac. It was a fantastic discussion point. What have you found for us
We got a few overview.
Yeah, we'll start with this one, I guess. So with the recent acquisition, Phil Spencer has been going on a couple of podcasts. So we've got a few quotes out of him. He hasn't reached out to us yet, but it's just a matter of time. But he's been talking about old IP, which is something we kind of touched on a little bit last week in terms of like what we want from Activision to bring out. But he's also spoken again about revisiting old franchises if there's an appetite for it. And I wanted to go around the horn and get an idea of if we're going to be bringing back, considering Microsoft now owns half the games industry, if we're going to be bringing back old franchises, are there any at the top of the list that you're like, this needs to happen?
Yeah.
I don't know, Kev, have you got anything in particular that you're jonesing for?
Well, I mean...
Cameron, this is an audio podcast.
Sorry, I can't think of any particular reason at all for any revival of old franchises.
So
you need to be clicking the whammy bar or something. You
gotta be like doing the mouth like he's holding up a guitar, a fake plastic guitar, for Guitar Hero.
Do you want me to go get my DJ Hero stuff?
No, I still have my DJ Hero.
I was going to, as soon as the Activision Blizzard thing went through, the first thing I was going to tweet about, which I didn't, was that finally the all of the creators of the 2009 Wolfenstein have been married up once again.
Yes. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. I love that game.
So,
That game's
because it
great.
was made by Raven and it was using id Tech, I think id Tech like
Hmm.
Engine 4 or something old now, like, or is it 4 or something, one of the older
Yeah.
ones. And yeah, and they put together a really good game that kind of seemed loosely tied to, I don't think they've really tied it very well back into everything that's happened since then, but I kind of
Sure.
it kind of happened. I guess I never played Return to Castle Wolfenstein, the
Mm.
original PC version, so
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of those old games come back.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're so much part of Activision's kind of history with the franchise at all, but that this one particular game, the 2009 Wolfenstein, uh, it was delisted from stores. It wasn't available anywhere else. It's just like on disc on the PS3 and Xbox 360, and I think a PC version as well. And that would be really good because Bethesda own Wolfenstein now, so.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and now Raven, who was part of Activision, well, do they even exist? I think they still exist. They've kept some of the stuff on, right?
They're
Or
a
they've
support
got like
studio
a
at this point, I think.
tiny,
Yeah.
tiny, yeah, section of them left, the remnants of it. So, stuff like that. And I'd really like to see studios like that. More so than a game, I'd actually like to see Raven come back, and I
Mm.
want to see them doing some of the things that have fallen into the background, like some of uh, Bethesda's, like Heretic and Hexen, and like
Yeah.
redoing stuff with those games. So I want Microsoft to actually use the studios and the talent behind them that have done so well as a support studio for Activision so far, just to bring back some of this old stuff and make a name for themselves because they deserve the name. The Raven guys are really, really good, and it just sucks that they've just been relegated to what they have. So
Yeah, I'm with you. Um,
yeah, but that's where I'm at with it. So
that's a great shout. I hadn't even considered that. I think in
mhm.
terms of like continuity, I think the only thing that really carries over from the 2009 version is uh, what's her name? Coraline, the woman in the wheelchair. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
she
it's been a
she is
long
in that game.
time.
Yeah. So
Mm,
she's in the in New Order, and she's from
yes,
the
yeah,
original. She's from that
yeah,
2009 game, but that's pretty much it.
yeah.
Um, I know this is obviously not going to happen, but I'd love to see some remasters of all those great Spider-Man games that Activision put out over that like 10-year period. Um, like even like I love the 360 like Web of Shadows stuff that they did, the Shattered Dimensions, Edge of Time, even the Amazing Spider-Man game was fun. I know that obviously that's not going to happen with the
Yeah,
way Insomniac had done stuff, but Activision published a lot of like pretty good like licensed titles.
yeah, they
I,
did.
they also did the Ultimate Alliance series as well, I think. Um,
Yeah, yeah, because that along with the Transformers stuff, that they
that's
kind of
right.
disappeared together, those
Yeah.
games. So yeah, it'd be nice
Uh,
to see all of them come back.
David says he wants a coalition to make a third-person shooter in the StarCraft universe. Look, if they revive StarCraft Ghost, I will
Oh,
play
dude,
it. I
yes.
will play it.
StarCraft Ghost would be, yeah. Oh, I remember when, like, as a child reading just the book, like the actual magazine excerpts on
Yeah, yeah.
StarCraft Ghost coming out.
I remember that. I think it was in like
So
Edge magazine or whatever. They had a whole thing about
we
it.
had one here in Australia called Hyper Magazine. I don't know if anyone remembers that one at all, but I still have a box somewhere with my old Hyper magazines lying around. It was great, little collection of uh,
Ah,
you know, book
yeah.
magazines that they did. So mm,
Fuck, StarCraft Ghost, that takes me back. Holy shit. Um,
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I played so much of the original StarCraft. I'm still terrible at RTS and never
Mm,
got any better from that age, but I still love the idea of the series. Um, yeah, I mean, if they bring out they bring the StarCraft series to Xbox or Game Pass,
Well, they brought it
um,
to N64, right?
they did originally. Yeah, we definitely not the way to play it, but you could there were some exclusive levels for it.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, like I would love a revival of StarCraft. I would love a revival of Warcraft too. I think that the RTS genre. I mean, if anyone's going to do it, Microsoft have good development in terms of the stuff they do with Age of Empires.
Yeah. They'll be able to translate a lot of that across the consoles now too.
Yeah.
Like
Not again, not that that's the way to play it.
No, but I mean, it's just opening it up to more people that can play these games.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to think if there's anything in.
I got a few series.
Sure.
Prototype, which I've gone on about like enough times.
Yeah, Prototype would be good to bring back. That game really needed a third game.
Prototype has that kind of, like, I know it's not made by them, but it's like that same kind of Insomniac Games kind of blood to it. Like, you think, like, in terms of, like, Prototype plays like a Spider-Man or those kind of
sure. Well, open world traversal, I mean, it was made by the same people who did, what were they, was that Free Radical? No, that was Rebellion, right? Fuck, I don't even remember at this stage. It's been so fucking long.
Let me check.
I love Prototype. The only problem with that game is, again, the achievements are a little bullshit. But I did do it on 360, and I have started on the Xbox One, so I will need to go back to it.
Radical Entertainment, you're right.
Radical, yeah, that's Radical too. Free Radical or something else.
They've done a few different things. Anyway, so that was one of them. I would love I honestly could see Alex Mercer having a spot if a company took enough genuine care with it. Like, be a flagship kind of like, not flagship, stronger, recognizable brand.
Yeah, I think the second game just kind of torpedoed that series, unfortunately. Well, I like the second game in some ways more than the first, but yeah.
Second one feels like an improvement, but in everything but story.
Yeah, exactly.
In my opinion.
Exactly. Mechanically, it works a lot better.
But yeah, if they gave me like a remake of the first one, I would be so down with that. The second, what was the second one I had? Tony Hawk, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
And then the third one that nobody's brought up yet that I loved playing back on the PS2 was the True Crime games.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I never played those.
I grew up in a family of like, all right, GTA's God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
If my dad wanted to play video games, it was jumping on GTA and just running people over and all that. And this True Crime was kind of like in that similar vein, whereas in like what's the Ubisoft one? The
Ubisoft?
GTA like
GTA like Ubisoft.
I can only think of Watch Dogs. I can't think of anything else.
Watch Dogs is probably Are you thinking of Sleeping Dogs?
Sleeping Dogs, yeah.
That's not Ubisoft. Yeah, that's Square Enix.
Yeah, Square have that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, it kind of has that similar vein. And they were just... I don't know if it's just my memory, but they were like, not campy, but just a little bit...
Oh, that was super...
Like
was
weird?
it like... was the second one has fucking dragons and shit in it by the end of that game? Like, it fucking jumped the chart.
I was like 10 years old at this point. Like,
oh, yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Was it fucking like Ice-T in that game or some shit?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, some ridiculous.
Maybe. What if they just brought back like Eternal Runners and did like a Pitfall game?
Sure. Yeah. Hey, I mean, they like even Bobby Kotick
bust out their mobile phone. They want to get that going. So
I mean, fuck, I was playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance a few months ago, and they have a Pitfall level in that game. It's ridiculous. Bobby Kotick even name checked Pitfall when he put his resignation in or whatever. It's like, hey, I'm just looking at like the Activision published list from like the early 360 days, and I'm like, oh yeah, all of those fucking Cabela games.
Yeah, I'm on the hunt for some of those old 360 physical discs actually. So yeah.
I played a lot of that shit. Spider-Man 3, Guitar Hero, Pin My Ride. Apparently they've published that would be a great one to get another version of. The like History Channel games that they did, Hot Wheels. Transformers stuff, the Shrek games, B-Movie, the game. Arcadian Warriors, I remember playing that. No. Soldier of Fortune, I remember that series was fucking cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
a lot of fishing games.
I'd be interested to see what they do with like stuff like Overwatch.
Yeah, what can they do, I guess, is the question.
I guess what they originally promised with 2.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I mean, but with Microsoft owning it though.
Yeah,
it's
maybe.
The same thing that I've said with things like what was it like Battleborn and stuff like that were made by 2K and stuff. Like there are so many characters in there that they could do individual things with that don't have to be part of a hero fighter essentially.
Yeah.
You know, they could just make stories or like a single player third person game on just this on some of those characters, you know. They really want to do single player like levels or something, they could do something with those. Make a third person shooter with
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'd play that.
Make a Candy Crush FPS.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Gotta get those mums over into the console space, you know.
Raven also made Singularity, which is one of my favorite 360 games.
Yes.
Of all
Yeah. Well, there you
time.
go.
So good that they were just like, hey, BioShock plus Half-Life, let's fucking do it. Fuck, that game was good. I mean, the multiplayer was shit, but the actual game, like the fact that it didn't get a sequel is a real shame. Yeah, there's a lot in that catalog actually as I go through it. I'm like, again, like some of this is like they're published, but they don't own the developers, so you know, good luck with that. A lot of it is like licensed stuff that will never see. Oh yeah, I remember Chaotix Shadow Warriors, that weird fucking 2009 game. Jurassic the Hunted. I remember when I went to the States for the first time, I saw all these games that I was hunting for, of like, you know, really cheap early 360 games that were trash that you just never made it to New Zealand.
Yeah. I'm just having a look around if there's anything else that sticks out. Yeah, I'd love Spider-Man, but it's never gonna happen.
No.
Disney's Extreme Skate Adventure remake. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Nice.
I don't care. I already own it. It's fine.
There's all those 007 games as well that they did.
Yeah, it'd be nice just to see some of those servers come back online. They just take control and just do something with them.
Sure. Hey, look, if they do like a digital only Skylanders game, like they did like when they did the digital version of, was it Starlink? No, Star, whatever the one that Ubisoft did was. Not Starfield. I don't know,
you're thinking.
Yeah, it was Starlink. Starlink Battlefront.
Yeah, Starlink. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the Ubisoft one, isn't it?
Yeah, I own that. I've installed that many times and never started it. I really should just play that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Phil Spencer. Hey, if you're listening, we got a shitload of fucking ideas. We get some teams on this stuff. Also, bring out a new fucking Spyro game. It's been overdue.
It'd be nice, in all honesty, too. There's that many games during the 360 era that are IPs that I'd love to see. You know, get remade, like the Shrek games, B-movie, Over the Hedge, that kind of stuff. I just love to play it, Percy.
The licensed stuff is just like they just don't make licensed games anymore, you know, which is understandable because games are so fucking expensive to make.
Yeah, along the lines of the Activision stuff, if nobody's seen, you can actually get in the Microsoft Rewards, like the Battle Pass and the Premium Battle Pass at the moment too.
Smart.
So yeah, so it looks like they've never started to do, you know, a little bit, you know, where they can let people know that they are an Activision, I guess. But
yeah, true.
Now, actually, quick thing. I was looking for this last Madagascar Karts.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a Madagascar racing car game coming out soon?
Oh, it had Madagascar characters and it was at the Disney. No, not Disney. There was a DreamWorks Karts.
Yeah,
DreamWorks Karts was the thing that was coming out
with the Shrek meme.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. It's gonna be trash. It was trash, I think. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. This one is like a real quick one, but I just was interested. TA put up an article that said 90% of Forza Motorsport Xbox players haven't completed a single online race.
And this is based on their stats, I believe. Yeah,
This is based on Xbox's stat, the global.
Xbox's stats, okay.
So I think they said that it's a bit higher for. I think they said 20% of people have unlocked it on True Achievements, but only 10% globally. That's really fucking low. Like that's not even like winning a race, right? It's just completing a race.
I think it goes back to the conversation we had last week, though. Like you have to do practice, you have to wait. It's all the timing that's around online, whereas in solo play, just jump in,
and drive the car. What a fucking novel race!
Yeah, there's such a discrepancy with the online races, though.
If I went out and started my car and then sat there for 10 minutes to wait for the race to start.
You mean in the garage with the door closed?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's look, we know Forza's bad, mate, but you don't need to look. It's not that bad. They'll patch it. They'll patch it, buddy. It'll get better.
It's okay. You don't have to. Yeah.
Just on the phone to support, and just like
exactly. Yeah. I'm getting very sleepy. No. I was like, yeah, I know I own a Tesla. It doesn't make sense, but whatever.
Speaking of Tesla, did you see the video this week of the woman trying to fill up the Tesla?
I did not see that.
No, I haven't.
Just these two guys behind her, just like, she's just, petrol station, trying to find it. Yeah. No, absolute gold. Anyway, yeah, this doesn't surprise me.
I mean,
yeah, it takes so long to get into a match sometimes. If you click on the multiplayer menu at the wrong time, you have to wait. It's 30 minutes for a practice round. So you have to get a match when it's 5 minutes remaining, go in, do your qualifying. And if you're not doing your qualifying laps, and if you're skipping the qualifying laps, you're just sitting there waiting for the 5-6 minute timer to go down. So they don't have enough races going at any one time so that people can just go into a race consistently, like So I finished a race, I think last night, and then the next race had a countdown timer of 10 minutes. And that was just going from one race to the next one in that set. So, and generally there's a 30-minute timer for all of these. So as soon as they become active, and they're just queued up. You can't actually access the multiplayer until it gets to 30 minutes or something, and then there's a 30-minute countdown. So
yeah, that's just insane to me. I mean, like, you want to drive people away from your fucking game. That's a great way to do it.
Well, the other problem too is like Turn 10 has those bloody 10,000 credits achievements again, and the likes and that. So how it's meant to work is if you download somebody's design, it's 100 credits. If you race with their design, it's 200. Or if you like the design, it's 500. Likes are broken.
Oh, of course they are. Yeah, right.
So,
yeah, the one that costs the most. Yeah.
Stuff.
I tried to grind them out last night with our buddy. Actually, we just jumped on each other's skins and then just to race each other's tunes and stuff like that. But it didn't seem to be counting. But like the other games, it looks like this 24-hour countdown. It turns over after 24 hours. I need to log into data to see if it works.
I spent 2 hours the other day helping. Actually, I spent 2 hours on my birthday the other day helping Vortek get his completion. Just downloading that. Too nice.
Yeah. There's some other things. Apparently, only 8% of players have completed a clean qualifying lap, and only 6% of players have even managed a podium finish.
Look, I understand the clean qualifying lap problem.
Yep. Because there's too many dickheads online of the few people that are playing.
Yeah.
And then related to that is 1% of players have got the S rank safety across the 5 consecutive multiplayer events, and the 10 one is even lower than that. So, yeah, I for a second I was like, I could probably play a Forza game, and then I was like, no, what am I thinking? No, under no circumstances.
I will say in terms of all the Forza games, this is the easiest to just let it play itself.
Sure, but fuck
the
it,
multiplayer is gonna fuck you.
Yeah, exactly, and of course they'll bring up bullshit DLC for it as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's that. You've got this next one here, Cameron.
All right. So Sam Lake has said that Alan Wake's 2's free DLC will be significant. Creative director has teased that Remedy's post-launch plans for the title, telling the audience at EGX, the event, I believe in London, that the DLC would be pretty significant. And then I believe they also got 2 paid DLCs coming out as well. Yeah, 2 paid expansions called the Night Springs and the Lake House.
So the Night Springs is the Twilight Zone show from that game, which I'm really looking forward to because I wonder if it's going to tie in with American Nightmare, because American Nightmare was basically set as him writing an episode of that show. There was kind of a weird meta thing going on there. Well, I say a weird meta thing going on in an Alan Wake game. What a fucking surprise! And then Lake House, obviously, I imagine is probably a reference to the original game as well.
Yeah,
I'm really keen on it. So my birthday present is Alan Wake 2 when it does release. So I'm going to go for the remaster this week and then try and get to Nightmare.
I'm very excited to play that game.
This game is just going to come out and we're going to be like, Game of the Year is way too hard.
I mean, we'll talk. I've got opinions. Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. I'm very keen to see what they do with it, and I would be very interested to see if this is going to be the end of Alan Wake as well, or if they're going to, I don't know, like they've got the interconnectivity between Quantum Break, Control, and Alan Wake.
Yeah, Quantum Break is kind of the weird one, but yeah, Control and this especially, and the original Alan Wake, yeah.
I mean, Quantum Break has still got some connections to it, but yeah, it's more further out than Control and.
Yeah, for sure. But where Control literally had Alan Wake in the game and as the DLC.
Yeah, I need to go back and do Quantum Break this year, actually. So that might give me a little bit more excited.
I love Quantum Break. Sometimes I go back and watch the trailer, like the videos.
Oh, God, the end, that stuff sucks. It's like bad CW TV. But Lance Reddick is in it, which is like the saving thing of it that I like.
I was just about to say too, it would have been amazing if they could have got like one of the characters out of Quantum Break to be in a side game or something.
Well, I mean that game ended on a cliffhanger, so you never know. Remember that was the Xbox exclusive, right? I remember that. It was weird.
Yeah, it was. It
was meant to be a launch title, and it got delayed by 2 years, something like that.
Yeah, it had that little controversy where it left Game Pass, and they were wondering what they were doing with the contracts, and then they brought it back. So
yeah, right. It was
just like a refresher because of IP.
It was the week I started it and decided to play the game. It randomly dropped off Game Pass, and I didn't have access to it. I haven't gone back.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
So.
I remember when that game got pitched and they were like, no, we're doing a whole TV show that happens, the things in the TV show will reflect like what happens in the game or whatever, or some shit. They were just like...
That's the annoying thing though. Like these kind of games that incorporate the TV aspect of it tend to be my favorites. Like Age of Empires 4, what's the racing one?
Grand Tour?
Grand Tour, yeah. I loved Grand Tour. Coming back, playing an hour each week was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that they kind of got that of like we'll just like have the content ready. But it was when the Xbox One came out and they were like, this is a multimedia box. It plays games, but we're also doing like a shitload of TV stuff, and we're going to do like sports, and we're going to have the Snap thing so you can fucking watch the NFL and plug it into your like other boxes, so it all goes to stream everything into it. And also it's going to be more expensive than an Xbox, and you're going to have a Kinect and
bring back Snap.
Don't bring back Snap.
Well, you know. Yeah, so I want to plug my PS5 into my 2013 Xbox One.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Because it had the output and the import and all kinds of... It was stupidly ambitious and ridiculous. And then it all just got like shuttered because they were like, oh, no one actually gives a shit. Like making TV shows are hard. And like they got like, I think it was like the Halo Legends TV show was the only thing they had ever made it from the studio. And then it just shut everything down. Yeah. So Quantum Break basically got neutered, but it's still a pretty Remedy-ass game.
Really nice game, has some of my favorite actors in it. Yeah. I thought it was good. Anyway, not really much else to say other than that.
I was going to make a joke about a Remedy arse game, being that other multiplayer one that we forgot about already, that they did the story for. I can't even remember the name.
They were contracted. That was...
Crossfire.
I know, Crossfire.
Yeah, they only did the single player for that and it still sucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So Xbox has basically said that I guess we recorded before this was officially announced, but it was basically as good as done, the Xbox has completed their acquisition of Activision. It's done, deal's dusted, they're sold, they've got the money, taken to the bag and run with it. CMA approved it like we saw, and so basically just after we finished recording, they basically confirmed it. So it's done, it's dusted, they have access to everything. But also part of this interview with Phil Spencer, he basically came out and said that, hey, we're not doing any like surprise Activision launch stuff straight into Game Pass like they did with the Bethesda acquisition, mostly because they weren't actually 100% sure that it was going to get through. And so they were we can't...
Why spend the expenses to like draw up contracts and all that for this stuff if you don't know if it's going to go through?
Yeah, like they were pretty certain, but even then, like it was still...
I'm sure the amount of money that they've probably spent on it for the last 2 years, getting up to to code or whatever you want to say for it.
Yeah.
Has been enough losses during that time to.
Sure. Yeah. So apparently, like, we're not really expecting to see, like, that work is now beginning now. So we're not really expecting to see any Activision Blizzard games come into Game Pass. And he's also like, hey, this isn't like a bait or like a, we got you, we're going to do a surprise drop. And he's like, hey, we're just not ready until 2024.
And then Sekiro drops to Christmas, and everybody's just like, "Oh, Phil."
Well,
but
I've actually heard
Sekiro,
that. They don't actually have access to Sekiro. I don't think at
unless
all.
they do a remake, which Activision has the rights to do a remake.
Own it,
there you go.
No, they published it. They have the rights to do a remake or like a remaster or whatever, but they can't publish the original game, basically.
Yeah, they can make a fake Euro.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Why is it every time I read
sequel? Yeah, I'll fucking workshop it.
Every time I read an IP list, though, it says that Activision own it. That's why I get confused. Yep.
Yeah, because FromSoft, I think they retained the rights to the original game at least. Okay. But
yeah. Well, that would make sense. I don't see anything coming from Sekiro down the track. They really need a team that could do that. Xbox by the guys that did Liza P, maybe.
Yeah, well, hey, sounds like might not be the worst idea considering what they're at a Korean studio, right?
Yeah. Start sowing some wild oats. Yeah. So I would see some kind of integration with the PC store. Like the Windows Store needs, I don't know, like they really need something to do with Battle.net.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's going to be interesting. Well, they've made it quite clear that they want to run Activision Blizzard as kind of a separate thing in a similar way to Bethesda and just kind of leave it on its own, but just kind of,
but they've done that weird thing with, I know at least Android apps having the Amazon. If you have Amazon, you have like an Amazon account you can access through the Windows Store the apps that you own on Android.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
So they're doing store integrations within that, and I can't remember. I don't have my Windows Store up or anything like that, but they've done one or two things like that where they've integrated stores within the store, and they could do that with Battle.net. I don't think they'd make Windows Store versions of the games though, because that would be a bit too hard on the devs to go back and retool it for Windows Store. But maybe they're gonna have to get.
Yeah, because I remember when they started putting like non-Blizzard games into Battle.net. Well, then they also tried to change the name. But yeah, I don't know. It's we'll see how it goes. I don't know if they want to touch it, to be honest. I think we see more of that stuff like you were talking about with like the perk stuff and things like that kind of integration.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But it is a bit unfortunate that we're not going to see. I mean, I wasn't expecting to see like a new Call of Duty and that kind of stuff, but we did theorize last week around like, hey, what they could bring out this year. Yeah, it would be like putting Crash on Game Pass Crash and Spyro on Game Pass would be really, really good.
It'd be interesting to see like FanFest and that next year and like to what's planned to come out.
I guess they've still got a few releases for Game Pass. They've already got it planned out for November, basically, right? So
yeah.
Maybe, like I kind of theorized last week, it's probably not a bad idea to have a few in the back pocket for when things are slow or deals haven't come through or games get delayed and you want to just bump it up with, hey, let's put Diablo 2 in here, let's put Diablo 3 in here, let's fucking do whatever.
Well, I've got a point that I want to make like when we get a few stories ahead about Game Pass, but I guess I'll go into the next story, and it's very much a short one. Activision Blizzard boss Bobby Kotick will remain as CEO until the end of 2023. Phil's personally asked him to stay on until the end of 2023, where they will swap over on Jan 1st, 2024.
Yeah, they haven't really clarified too much about like what that's going to look like or who his replacement's going to be or anything
I think it's
right?
him leaving the building with 2 bags of like money bags with dollar signs attached to them, and
$350 million, yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if like he stays in the industry or if he just retires. I mean, he could retire, but he's the kind of person that you just, he'll go run Unity or something.
He's still on the board of some other companies and stuff like that. So, And he's got probably enough shares in Activision. I
Yeah,
don't
well,
think
he'll cash them
that'll.
out when he leaves, I'm sure.
Yeah. So.
The question I want to bring up about this though is Bethesda has a lot of like public-facing people. Like we'll talk about the Pete Hines news in a second, but we've got like Pete Hines, we've got Todd Howard. In terms of Activision Blizzard, it's always just been Bobby Kotick for the worst
Well,
reasons.
on the Activision side, I mean, obviously they had Jalen Brack was for Blizzard before he went. I mean, like Blizzard have always had a lot of people in that regard, actually, because Blizzard's been a very community focused.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, when you have something like World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, and even Heroes of the Storm and all that kind of stuff, like live service games, essentially, you had a lot of community members, or you had you had someone who would represent those games. That's kind of changed a little bit. I mean, Brack is obviously no longer there after the allegations of him not doing anything about the sexual harassment stuff and the culture. So he got the axe.
The only people that I can think of at the moment that are there are like Quick and I'm trying to think what his proper name is. The one that used to work with Microsoft and Rod Ferguson in charge of Diablo.
Oh yeah.
They're the only like well-known figures that I can think of.
And even then, like, and then even I mean like Metzen's no longer there, right? He's now at Sony, I think. Like Metzen would be the one.
Yeah, yeah. Like even the Call of Duty games with zombies and stuff, you had Jason Blundell in there who created the zombies that made that really big. And like, so as you said, like the community figures are normally the people that like the community have attached themselves to for the individual games, I think, that have kind of popped up. But if you're really not in those communities, you probably don't know a whole lot about those people specifically.
Yeah.
But the people that know those people are huge on the people.
For sure. Actually, Metzen is actually Metzen left and came back, I think. So he's probably he was one of the driving people at Blizzard.
I was listening to another podcast the other day, and they theorized like, what if somebody like Sarah Bond ran like Activision Blizzard before Phil potentially retired?
Yeah, I don't think she'd be the right pick for it. But what do I know?
But I get it was an interesting conversation at the same time, though.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that like the thing about Activision is that they've never really had much of a front-facing. Like Kotick has been in the news because he was massively overpaid, incompetent, and everyone hated him. But he wasn't like the spokesperson for the games. Essentially, he was the spokesperson. He was the CEO of the business, so people called him to task quite a bit. I think that the thing about Activision is that Activision was always a company first and a games company second in a lot of ways, and that like they were essentially an investment company that got into games to make money. Whereas Blizzard, obviously, I mean, all companies get into business to make money, right? But that's the thing is that like Activision would sell anything, you know, like they would sell fucking crackers and commodities. And so like I don't like see Kotick as much of a gaming personality as such.
Yeah.
I don't think he has like the like.
Yeah, like doesn't have the Todd Howard aesthetic of going in there and being the person who really makes some of the decisions.
No, definitely not. Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just an interesting conversation to me because like the thing with Activision Blizzard going forward is, and I truly hope that Microsoft agrees with this, they're going to need a very culture-led team to fix the stuff there.
Especially if they're going to let them operate on their own, I mean, like chances are they'll probably hire from within. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people at that level who'd be happy to take on the Activision Blizzard thing as the new CEO.
I mean, there's going to be a lot of people moving around, and I think there's going to be a lot of lost jobs if they don't shift people around as well.
Yeah.
So because there are way too many people that cross roles, I guess that you could say.
Worried about marketing, publishing.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. Publishing is going to be the big one, right? Because Microsoft handled that internally. So like publishing, marketing, admin.
Yeah. This is going to really suck again because I don't need more people to compete with.
Yeah, that's fair. We'll see how it goes.
But yeah, I guess going on from that, Pete Hines.
Yeah, the de facto face of essential like publishing basically for Bethesda.
Yeah,
Like,
another
what, the last 2
industry
years?
veteran. Yeah.
He's been doing that for years.
I mean, like in official capacity though, it was like he only got the title last 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, after the Xbox acquisition, I guess things changed up a little bit, but
Yeah, he's always had a really good presence and stuff when he was in the public.
yeah, I mean, before Todd Howard, he was the Bethesda person basically, like, cause he did work on the original like Daggerfall, like Elder Scrolls 2. So like he's been around for a long fucking time and been like a big face of that company before the whole sort of Bethesda Studios, Fallout 3, Oblivion kind of, you know.
Yeah. All right, so just going into it. So the letter was basically Bethesda said, head of publishing for Bethesda Softworks, he's announced his decision to retire after 24 years. Pete's public presence was only a small part of his role at Bethesda, although the way he represented us carried over into the values he nurtured. Here, authenticity, integrity, and passion. Yeah, so like, I'm just trying to think how I want to transition to my point. I'm interested to know, because we know that there was discussions beforehand that he wasn't happy. He apparently might not have been happy about the fact that, you know, Xbox bought Bethesda.
Well,
the titles weren't hitting everybody.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, right? It wasn't so much with the acquisition; it was more with the restrictions and limiting of Bethesda titles versus not limiting Activision titles was kind of.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, just like, yeah, it's so different between Bethesda and Activision, and what they've had. What Activision will probably have a lot more, I guess, power in the industry over, like, no, within Xbox, essentially, than Bethesda probably ever would. So
yeah, I mean, like, look at the Bethesda acquisition was a big expensive one, but I guess but between like how much they pay for Bethesda and how much they pay for Activision is a big fucking difference.
Yeah. And you're like what? It was 8 million compared to like 70, yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, well, 8 billion compared to billion, not million, billion.
Billion, yeah, billion, which is still like an insane amount of money.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Bethesda can bring out a few more bangers, it's not going to really matter a whole lot, because when PlayStation bought Insomniac, they bought them for chump change. I don't have the details in front of me, but it was
a decent amount. I mean, it
was millions and not billions, you know.
Sure.
So it was. I'd probably have to look it up. PlayStation buying, you know, find out.
But it was just over 200 million.
Yeah. So, and that's not a whole lot compared to what they've actually done. Like, they're releasing games, a couple of games a year, maybe, or something like that. Some really big stuff. Like the year release of the PlayStation 5, they did Miles Morales and they did Ratchet and Clank, and you know they're nailing all of their games and releasing them very quickly, and then like their value is a lot higher. So if you really get some pedigree in the studios and really show that you're a full force, then like
yeah, I think that I think that's what Starfield was supposed to be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think and I think that having that as an exclusive makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think that, I mean, I think the big difference is that most of the things that ZeniMax, I'll say ZeniMax just to cover all of it, right?
Sure.
Most of their titles tend to be that more high-level prestige single player or smaller, single player or not always online games as a service games, right? Like Redfall excluded, but like, you know, if you look at like Dishonored, if you look at Starfield and Fallout and Elder Scrolls and all that sort of stuff, like, again, you have the Elder Scrolls Online, right? But when you compare that with what Activision brings out, and you're like, well, Call of Duty, they have a new one every year. It's hugely online. It is still an incredibly huge moneymaker every year. Even when growth is slow on that game, it outsells the nearest game of that year 2-1. That's a different conversation, right? With like when player base dictates the amount of people who are playing your game who will purchase the next one, it's a different conversation. And I think the other bit is that Microsoft had to make a lot of deals to make the numbers work and to get approval for this acquisition in the first place, right? I'm sure that if if they got a shitload of pushback on the Bethesda purchase, and they were like, we'll acquiesce and do deals to make sure that a bunch of Bethesda games stay on other platforms for a certain period of time to make sure the deal goes through, that would have happened. If Activision, if the CMA and FTC had gone, yeah, Activision, just acquire it, whatever, we don't care. They would have been like, yeah, fuck yeah, we'll give PlayStation like one more Call of Duty, and then we'll never give them another one ever again if it makes sense. Yeah. If they wanted to, but obviously they didn't have that option. And sure, they'll spin it to say the numbers don't make sense, and we have a bigger player base on PlayStation, and we'd rather clip the ticket there, which is all true and makes sense, especially when you have games as a service and you have microtransaction and all the other bits and pieces that they're making money on now. But I'm sure they would love to have the option to pull the rug out whenever they want, as opposed to having to sign a 10-year deal to keep the regulators happy.
I guess there's other benefits from this as well that we don't really take into consideration, like having on par, them not having Activision and Blizzard have just entire market. Sorry, us having the ability to market as well as PlayStation for the Call of Duty stuff. Whereas in how long has it been? Like pretty much the entire PS4 history, yeah. That Call of Duty was in terms of marketing.
Yeah. Sony's had the marketing.
There was a window there on the 360 had it.
Yeah, 360
and then it
had
switched back to PlayStation. Yeah. Because it was like Battle Pass exclusive something. Well, not Battle Passes, like before that.
There was the DLCs were first on Xbox.
First on Xbox, yeah. It would have been like Modern Warfare.
I would say Modern Warfare 3 is probably the last one, yeah.
And remember, I think this is somewhere in the pipeline that Starfield was this close to becoming a PlayStation exclusive. Yeah. And now it's exclusive to Xbox. And, to think that it could have been on PlayStation, and now it's not on PlayStation, and Activision is on Xbox and PlayStation, is kind of like, well, you've got an Xbox studio, and now you've got something that's across the market.
It wasn't just Starfield, though. It was they were also taking a look at Redfall. Obviously, they didn't want Redfall.
Well, I think they also had the conversation because look at Deathloop and Ghostwire, right?
And, those because they got those, and that was Starfield was next, essentially. So,
So it makes sense. Otherwise, you think if Microsoft hadn't done the acquisition for Bethesda titles, we would honestly just have a few good third-party games and not much else.
Well, again, I think it's maybe a little slightly different conversation when it comes to Bethesda Studios full their 5-year development cycle game, right? Yeah. If they were Elder Scrolls 6, it was Microsoft would be there is no way you're making this a PlayStation exclusive. We will throw money at you to make sure that this is on both consoles. I think it would be the same with Fallout, and I feel like it would have been the same with they literally did throw money at them at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, Elder Scrolls 6, though, they would have had to pay a fuck ton.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anybody would have really scored exclusivity because it would have just kept on.
No, it doesn't make any sense. But hey,
PlayStation would have never given him a dev kit to convert it over to PlayStation.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. God. Remember those PS3 days where every PS3 port was absolute fucking shit? God. I just remember when Bayonetta came out on the PS3 and everyone's like, "This don't play this on 360 where everyone should be playing."
Yeah.
Those are the days.
You know what? I would trade Bethesda for Insomniac though.
Oh no way! No,
I love Insomniac games.
I like Ratchet and Clank. I grew up on Ratchet and Clank and Naughty Dog are two of my favorite studios in the PlayStation 2 era. Right? I played Jak and Daxter and Ratchet and Clank religiously. I played every single one of those games so fucking much.
Yeah.
Cameron, did you finish Sunset Overdrive?
I finished both of them.
Yeah.
I need to do the PC version of that.
Both of them? Oh, you mean the other stack?
The Windows and the...
Yeah.
Two of my favorite
that's
games.
Basically Spider-Man, right? So it's the bones of Spider-Man. They took that and then went over and made Spider-Man. So
yeah, but I don't. Yeah, they don't actually put out that many games that quickly. To be honest, they definitely have some big divisions, and it was the original Spider-Man came out 4 years ago. Then there was actually no, because it came out on the PS4 and then they remastered it.
2018, I think it might have been.
Yeah,
they've just made so many bangers though. I really want to get around.
They barely missed.
Yeah, I really want to get around to buying the Resistance games and picking up a PS3.
Oof. Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
nice. Yeah, well, I'd say I'd play multiplayer with you, but they've shut down the
Yeah, they've shut
multiplayer.
it down. I just
Well
wanna play
dead.
single player.
Yeah. Yeah. We
Really
actually
good. Resistance 3 was amazing. I love
two
Resistance 3.
was
2 was, it was getting there, but 3 was great, actually. So,
yeah,
the original
like Ratchet and
Resistance was the
Clank,
Halo killer. Remember that?
Sunset Overdrive. Oh, they did Song of
Fuse.
the Deep. I did not realize they did Song of the Deep.
I thought I think they published that game, didn't they? Or is I thought it was developed by someone else.
They developed it. It was published by Game Trust.
That's right. Yeah.
Um,
Song of the Deep was okay.
and then yeah, I mean they've basically got Marvel IP now, so they got a license to print money. Wolverine will be interesting. But
yeah, that one I'm kind of interested in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they do a Marvel's Avengers down the line, and it turns out to be actually a good game.
Oh god, wow! You couldn't fuck it up more than Square Enix, right? Anyway, yeah. So Pete Hines is leaving, I guess. It looks like it's good. Starfield's going to be his last game. So
it does make me interested in what the conversation was behind closed doors. And
I mean, hey, look, to be fair, he's been there for a long fucking time. And I'm sure he got a nice payout when he left. And hey, sometimes, hey, look, there's no wrong reason to move on,
Yeah. No, it's good to leave on a nice note,
Yeah.
So no controversy, that might be good.
And
so
Starfield seems to be doing relatively well, as long as you don't look at the Steam reviews. Yeah, what's this wake up? Oh, I saw this trailer actually. Yes.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah. So Xbox launches the holiday marketing campaign with Wake Up and Dream. So pretty much the series consoles whole marketing campaign has been Power Your Dreams.
Yeah.
Essentially. So there was a trailer they released. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the Spear in Las Vegas.
Yes, I saw this. Yes.
So have you just seen the Xbox Spear? Or have you seen everything relating to the Spear?
I've seen many things. I remember when they did a concert inside it, and it looked like a fucking acid trip.
It's like U2 or something, yeah.
U2 did a concert in there. Yeah. There's been a lot of stuff around it. They were gonna do a Kirby thing.
So pretty much in Las Vegas, there is a massive Spear stadium that's essentially being built. That cost $2 billion, something to.
Yeah, and also a bunch of people were like, "How the fuck did this appear out of nowhere and no one knew anything about it till it got turned on?" I guess. The first time I heard about it was like, "Oh, hey, look, it's blinding residents in Las Vegas."
But yeah, apparently to market on it, it's $500,000 a day.
Fuck me. I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's the largest billboard in history, basically.
Yeah. And then you think of the virality of it, somebody could just easily take a video of it and put it on TikTok. The amount of videos I've seen on TikTok, which are just emoji faces of just this face looking around.
Yeah.
So creepy. But the interesting thing about it was they launched this marketing campaign. They did a 3-minute story trailer kind of thing. And then they had the thing going on with the X Spear, is what they're calling it. Right. In terms of when they're doing the Xbox marketing. The immersive video was immersive action story inspired by gamers and their dreams, going beyond imagination and capturing the fun, joy, community, and love we all share for our favorite games and epic gaming moments experience with friends. Marketing talk, yada yada, whatever.
Yeah.
The interesting thing about this, though, is they had 4 different games involved. They had Starfield, they had Forza Motorsport, they had Cyberpunk because of the DLC, and they had Hellblade 2.
Yes.
So the reason I wanted to bring this up is, how long away do we think we are from Hellblade 2?
Probably April.
I'm thinking Q1 2024. And I reckon they will have the announcement date at the Game of the Year Awards.
Yeah, that would be something. Put a trailer.
Because that's when it was first announced, right?
I think so, yeah.
3 years ago?
I think so.
Yeah, a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, yeah.
So I think it will very, very close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be not this financial year, because otherwise they would have talked about it already. It would have been too soon to release and do it a February, March release. But I think
a few months away though is that next big.
Yeah, I think an April, May, summer release would be real smart.
Yeah, because
there's a lot of competition. It'll be on Game Pass. You'll have a lot of room to talk about it. Yeah,
it's got a lot of growth compared to the first game. I think they were saying it.
Yeah, I'm play the fuck out of it.
A 20-hour game or something like that compared to.
Great.
Yeah,
I'm keen.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, everything that's there, everyone can join now, and then it's like Hellblade. This is what you've got to look forward to, essentially. Yeah. And the trailer actually has the what surround kind of noises that you get.
The experience of the game. Yeah.
The experience. Yeah, you can actually hear that if you've got headphones on and stuff. So.
I'm very keen, and just when I noticed today, I'm just like, it's a bit weird that they would be including there if they haven't made any announcements about the date.
Yeah, we haven't heard much about it. They did do a trailer at Jeff Keighley's thing, right? I think, but it was like an in-game trailer.
Jeff Keighley?
Well, not even a trailer. It was like some like in-game cinematic thing that they did, which was interesting.
And they also did the facial demo.
That's right.
Yeah.
Where they kind of showed the tech behind it that they can bring into the apps and stuff like that. So.
Cool. All right, last one. Golem redeemed new. I love this one. New $50 King Kong game called a complete scam. Skull Island Rise of Kong videos have been shared thousands of times on social media. The game has gone viral due to its unusually poor graphics, with one player labeling it a complete scam.
Yeah. So the thing is that you cannot use the word King Kong because that is trademarked, but you can use the word Kong. That's not trademarked. So this game, that's why the game is called, was it Rise of Kong?
Rise of Kong.
Because it's not trademarked.
So it was released.
And not Rise of Kang. That's the Marvel thing. Because it's Kong. Big difference.
All right. So it was released on consoles and PC on Tuesday, and quickly social media filled with videos highlighting its shoddy presentation. I didn't know anything about this game. It was like,
I just saw the memes.
I've only just heard of it too. So
I saw the memes and I was like, I need to play this.
One clip, which has been liked over 30,000 times on Twitter or X, shows a cutscene in which the developer appears to have inserted a static image in place of incomplete animation. Another shared by a King Kong fan account shows a combat scene that the user calls low-effort shovelware. Skull Island Rise of Kong retails for €45 or $50 US on the PlayStation Store. However, PS Plus members can receive a 25% discount.
25% discount? That's a fucking steal.
Nice. Yeah.
I know what everyone's getting in their stockings this year.
I'm looking at the video right now, one of the ones that are on Twitter, and like it looks like Donkey Kong, but against like giant crabs, and the crabs are like they're sponges to his punches. It's just like there is like, these things are not going down. So it's like, how much power does this guy really have?
So the publisher is Game Mill, which again, like, holy shit, is like, if you're gonna name your publishing studio, naming your publishing studio Game Mill is the most tone deaf thing I've ever seen in my entire life, right? Like, can you imagine just being like, yeah, it's the Game Mill. We just throw people into it, and eventually a game comes out. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. What normally goes into what you put meat into a grinder.
Exactly.
What comes out? Mince meat.
Game Mill, according to its website, has a proven track record for leveraging the equity of some of the world's most beloved brands and working with developers to nimbly bring to life games that delight diehard and casual fans alike. Holy shit. If you have not seen this, you need to go look at it. It is incredible.
Yes.
The most recent titles that the company has developed are Skull Island Rise of Kong, Head Snatchers, and G.I. Joe Operation Blackout.
Yeah.
That G.I. Joe wasn't that long ago either. So...
3 years ago.
That was the 360 title.
Oh, was it?
No.
Isn't there a new one?
The most recent one. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
With a veteran lead team, we know how to navigate the landscapes of licenses, developers, and consumers with proven time and time again an ability to deliver hit games on time, in scope, and on budget.
Is this on their website?
This is on their website.
I just checked. There's like no mention of any games anywhere. Just like
no, absolutely not. Apparently, Game Mill's worked on Cobra Kai, G.I. Joe, Big Hero 6, Frozen, and Hotel Transylvania. Hotel Transylvania was actually okay. It was a Pikmin clone.
Gotta love the Pikmin clones. But yeah, I thought that would be a funny one to chuck in there. Just absolute bloody rip. But
I did kind of mention in the Discord, like I am looking for my next milestone game. I'm about to hit 2.3 million. A few thousand away, so I need to.
I gave you two options. It was Bluey, or it was, what was the other one?
Well, Bluey's not out yet.
Yeah, Bluey's out soon. Bluey will be a future game.
Okay, yeah.
And what was the other one?
I think Mikhail suggested Horse Racing 2016, but I've already done that. So
Yeah. No, there was something else that I had, and you just completely ignored me.
I don't know.
I'm gonna find
You
it
were
quickly.
suggesting some. Yeah, I see what
Look,
you can find.
I believe the completely ignoring part, but
Yeah, but like that sounds on brand. But
Yeah.
because I completely ignored it, I don't know what you said. Yeah, I don't know. I need to think of a good like meme game or something to play for my next milestone.
You've done Frog Detective, haven't you?
I have done Frog Detective. That game
Baby
was
Shark.
Oh yeah, was that like Baby Shark? Okay,
Yeah, there was a Baby Shark game that came out not too long ago.
Okay.
look, Baby Shark would be a good meme game, I'd
Yeah,
say.
that's not a
Yeah.
bad one.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done Octodad, so I guess it's we can stick with the aquatic thing.
All the aquatic animals. It's in the trilogy of those kind of games. Yeah, it's what's the shark game?
Yep.
That we did not too long ago. That was in Game Pass.
Oh, Maneater.
Maneater's
great.
Yeah, Maneater, Baby Shark, and Octodad.
Oh man, I remember doing Driving Essentials. That was a good one.
Driving Essentials.
And I'm just looking at the list now. There's a lot of horse games in here. There's My Horse and Me Too. There's The Last Unicorn. Oh, sorry, the Unicorn Princess, and then actually Horse Club Adventures got a sequel, didn't it? Ooh, let me have a look at that.
There's some Paw Patrol ones because that right.
Oh yeah, true. That's true. They haven't put them all on Game Pass. Yeah.
There's the Grinch Christmas Adventure, which just released.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah. That's anyway. We're getting off track. I don't want to derail the show for the bullshit.
Rainbow High, Runaway.
Oh no. Okay. You have some quick news.
Yeah. All right. Vampire Survivors added a title update with 6 achievements. Sea of Thieves added Season 10 guilds with 9 new achievements. Xbox Game Pass, a game, RoboQuest, is set to get 70 achievements with its full launch on November 7th. Be interested to check that out. Second extension, unfortunately, got delisted with its servers due to close in 2024. Positive news from it is all the team are not being laid off, which are very rare in this time of day and age. And also, Lies of P sold 1 million copies despite launching on Game Pass.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
And really good news.
It's really good. Yep.
Because that was their first title, yeah?
Second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Blessed Unleashed was, I believe, the
yeah, but it's their first real title. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Cool.
You want to run through the Game Pass updates?
Yep. So on my birthday yesterday, F1 Manager 2023 came out. October 24th, City Skylines 2 is coming to PC, with the console version, I believe, hitting in January, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it's just delayed indefinitely at this point. I don't think
okay.
they've given another. Yeah.
Okay, maybe we're on that. October 26th, we have Dead Space, Frog Detective, the entire mystery coming out on cloud and console, and Mineneko's Night Market on everything. I'm very excited to check out Mineneko's Night Market. October 31st, we have Headbangers, which looks so weird, and Jasant from Don't Nod.
Yep.
Leaving, we have Persona 5 Royale, Kill It with Fire, Signaris, Solasta, Crown of the Magister, and Gunfire Reborn. I would say if you're going to do any two in that list, do Kill It with Fire and Signaris using Super Bob's console command D-mode menu thing. Also,
or you could just play Signalis. To be fair, it is actually just a good game and not too long.
True. You could also play Gunfire Reborn because it is a really solid game, but you're not going to get it done in time.
No. Or just don't.
It is one of the best games I played last year.
It's probably fun. Hey, look, Aftos was like, I don't want to play any more of this, so that lets me know.
I'm sorry that I have a better skills.
I started that game with you guys, and I never went back to it after you guys stopped playing it.
I could not put it down. It was like one of my wake up at 3 a.m. in the morning to start playing video games.
I did consider starting it. I may pick it up at some stage. We'll see.
I was 100% like 2 weeks ago. I'm just like, it's gonna leave end of the month, so I'm gonna.
100%. But like even then, I wouldn't have had time, unfortunately. But yeah, and I love the look of Celesta, but that is
7 people completed.
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, it is essentially it is the size of like a Baldur's Gate game. It's
hundreds of hours. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a D&D 5 based game, so it is. Yeah. They actually, I believe, when they actually said that, hey, it's on Game Pass on Xbox when you can't play Baldur's Gate yet. The developers came out and were like, hey, play this.
I thought Signalis had actually left Xbox Game Pass already, but maybe I need to go and do that.
You should actually. It is actually quite.
Because that's very Alien-like, isn't it? That one. And that's kind of my wheelhouse. That kind of.
Yeah, I think it's essentially the pitch is Silent Hill 2, but robots.
Nice.
And it's fucking cool and also very weird. And if you can understand the story, good luck. And then when you're done, you can go and see there is a person on Twitter who takes all the characters from it, the two female characters from it, and makes them have a very cute relationship and makes animations for it.
That's nice.
It's very sweet. But I've already done Signalis. I've done Kill It With Fire. Kill It With Fire is great fun. I've done Persona 5.
Yeah, that's good.
So I guess I'm safe this time just because I'm not going to have time for Gunfire Reborn.
I might pick up Persona and all that, like physically down the track.
Yeah, Persona 5. Like if there's anything, if there's a JRPG worth playing, it's Persona 5.
Take this queue and start playing
the games.
Yeah, right.
Like JRPG. I mean, look, I haven't played, but
take this queue and Persona 5's leaving. Go play Persona 3 or Persona 4 because they're next.
Or just wait for Persona 3 Reloaded to come out next year.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I agree.
Persona 4,
4.
Yeah,
play 4.
Definitely.
Yeah, 4 is fucking fantastic.
Right. Let's get into games we've been playing.
Yeah. Okay. I want to hear about Hexalogic because that was I remember playing this. It was a cute little thing.
All right. So Hexalogic, I decided to play because it was one of the game devs that I was working with. I'm not working at TSC anymore. Unfortunately, I was laid off. But yeah, I went back to play Hexalogic because it was because their second title that they're releasing, their second title that they released is also just hit Xbox. It's not hit Game Pass or anything. It is Harmony's Odyssey, which is like the cute little diorama game. So I'm gonna pick that up to play with Percy. But I decided to go back to their very first game because I had access to it. Hexalogic is just a very simple puzzle game where you have a grid-based system and you can put, essentially there's triangles, you can put a dot, 2 dots, or 3 dots, or you can go and reset it back to like 1. And then each line has a certain combination. So it's 4, so you're figuring out where to place the dots to solve the puzzle. And then as you progress through the game, there will be like greater than symbols or less than symbols, and these kind of equations that you've got to essentially solve. Just very chill, very easy.
Well, I don't know about very easy, but
I mean, it's like one of those games though that you can just like there's certain places on the grid that like mimic another place on the grid. So if you put 2 dots in one of these triangles, it'll correspond with another one. Solve backwards from that. It's just trial and error. Like it's not. Yeah. It doesn't require that much brain work. It's like one of those kind of like Sudoku level puzzles where you just have to like, all right, cool, this is here, so therefore this thing here needs to be this, and that kind of problem solving. So yeah, that was pretty good. In terms of Frog Detective, I
love that game.
You're a detective, you're a frog. I basically just did it because it was I did it because the console version is coming out next week, but then at the end of chapter 2 there is a shortcut. There is a console command, Shift L and 4 will bring up the chapter select for the second game, which you need to do 2 alternative endings.
Yes.
So you've got to lie about something and you've got to tell the truth about something, but you can actually chapter select back partway through the chapter to not have to redo the whole thing, and it save you.
Not that it's a very long game at all.
It's not a very long game, but it's just like one of those things that's very quick. Aussie devs, husband and wife team with a sound designer as well. This game's great. It's just it's so funny. It's just got that childlike charm to it. Wasn't expecting the twist in the third game. Without going into any spoilers.
It's so fucking stupid. I love it.
It's like one of those like everything is just absolutely stupid for the sake of it, but it's just
that's good. Every week you talk about this, I need to go back. It's installed on my computer. I need to go and do it. So
it's only a couple hours.
Only a couple hours. There's free. There's only one missable achievement in the game, which is that one in chapter 2, and the one in the chapter 2 is you have to talk to every person. There's like 7 characters mainly.
You literally a cul-de-sac that you can walk to them in a second. So it's pretty easy.
It's very easy. The second I'm not sure if you experienced this. None of the achievements popped for me on screen in case 2.
I don't remember.
So case 1 and case 3, the achievement, I was playing on PC, the achievements popped on the right-hand side corner like they usually do. Case 2, nothing popped. It was all silent pops.
Okay,
which was
interesting.
Just something to keep an eye on, because I just kept on, bringing up the achievement menu just to double check that nothing had like glitched or anything. There was one that just took like a second longer that I wasn't sure on. But
Right.
Great game. I've done most of Short Hike this week. I've just got to do the fishing achievement.
Oh, Short Hike I like Short Hike a lot. That's a really cool game.
It's just the fishing at the end is a bit all.
Yeah, it takes a little while. But it's not too bad. Especially because you can get more bait quite easily.
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. And then Mirage is the only other thing they've been playing, but I've only put 5 hours in, so it's not enough to.
Let's just say you haven't got good things to say about it.
I haven't went deep enough in Mirage to comment on it yet. The other 2 quick ones, Party Animals, I've got like 20 achievements left. Most of it's just win 5 matches stuff. Game is fun. It's not going to make my game of the year, but it's honestly a contender for a good time.
Okay.
I do think the server's going to die pretty quick on it though.
Yeah, I might jump on that sooner rather than later.
But they originally started with an Asia, a Europe, and a America server. Yeah. It's now North America, South America, Australian servers.
Oh, okay.
Asia, and I don't know. There's like 6 servers now, which is good.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And yeah,
I'll talk about. Yeah, of course. Right.
Yeah.
So last week I was talking about like, hey, I've been playing a lot of fucking good stuff. Like I've been playing. I'm just looking through my list now. I was playing Cocoon. I was playing Liza P. I was like fucking Game of the Year contenders and stuff. Yeah. I finished up Starfield. And I finished up Armored Core, and I was like, fuck, I'm playing some really great stuff. And the trend fucking continues. I'm playing some great stuff again. I got through all of Dead Space. I started it last week and just smashed through it this week. Fuck me, this is good. I mean, and of course now they just announced it's coming to Game Pass, but whatever.
Yeah, nice.
This game, like, it plays like I remember that game looking like on the 360, which is like unheard of. I'm sure if I went back to 360, I'd be like, oof, Jesus, okay. It's phenomenal. It's like they've nailed it. The improvements they've made in terms of like the structure of like making the game more sort of accessible in terms of like going back and forth and stuff. It's been so long since I played the original that I don't remember like structurally some stuff has changed, but the overall story is the same. It looks really good, plays really well for the most part. It is a bit of a pain to have to kind of do 3 playthroughs because you need to do 1 playthrough. Well, you could potentially do it in 2, but basically there's an achievement for finishing the game in New Game Plus, and there's an achievement for finishing the game on the Impossible difficulty, which is hard mode but with a single life. But you can cheese it pretty easily. You can save as many times as you want, and like I would just do a thing where it's like if I knew I was going to die, I would just load my game, and I didn't have any issues with it. It was definitely challenging to start with, but it evens out as you get more upgrades and things like that. A lot of collectibles. You will definitely need a guide for this. But it's fucking great. Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't have to play through it 3 times, but
didn't it have like a mine glitch or something with a vending machine where you could level up all of the weapons?
Yep.
Is that still in there?
Yep. If you're patient enough to do the pulse mine stuff, you can basically cheese your way through the game by just earning more money, basically spending the ammo, selling the ammo that you get, upgrading your gun to get your ammo back, selling it, resetting, and then just doing that over and over again.
Yeah.
I did like a little bit of that in the Impossible playthrough just to kind of get a couple of extra upgrades, but
stuff.
It's pretty easy.
Yeah. Isaac has voice acting now, doesn't he, as well?
Yep. So they got the same voice actor back from 2 and 3. They've also remodeled his face to make it look more like the voice actor, so they did like mocap stuff. Like they better do a sequel. They better do 2. They better remake 2 because 2 is fucking fantastic. Like this is easily a Game of the Year contender. The only thing that would potentially discount it is that it is not essentially an original idea. It is very much a remake. It's one of those things where it's pretty like mechanically it's still very close to the original game. There isn't like there was a bit of a discussion when it first came out, right? Where it was like how much of like is this a remake? Is it a remaster? Where is the line? Because structurally the game is the same. They've up-resed a lot of the stuff. It looks really, really good, and like tightened up the controls, changed some structural things, added a couple of things here and there, but it's still very much the same game.
Yeah. It isn't the going between locations a little bit better now as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like the tram system is
Yeah.
massively improved, so it's easier to get from location to location.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Like I still think that the hard mode is maybe still a little bit like the early game is still kind of maybe a little bit too unforgiving in terms of like the number of shots you need to take down an enemy. On easy mode, it's like, one, maybe three to kill a regular enemy. It's just it's like three potentially, maybe 4 to 5 depending on how good your aim is, and you might get 6 ammo back. So once you get a couple of upgrades and a few new weapons and stuff, it kind of evens out a little bit. But that early game, I was restarting like a lot.
Right.
But I'm also bad at video games. Speaking of which, I also played a wonderful gift that Cameron got me a few years back. I finally got to Ghost Runner. I was looking for something to play after Dead Space. This game's fucking amazing. You guys heard of this? It's fucking good. It's real good.
Fuck you.
Look, you haven't finished
I have not played
this
this
was
game.
like 2 years ago. No, I bought this for you. This
This
was a present for you.
Yeah, and I finally got around to playing it. It's fucking great. I also bought the DLC for it.
You know what else is great?
What?
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. I don't necessarily agree. I have played that, and I don't agree. Ghost Runner is fantastic. It's everything. It basically takes the Mirror's Edge idea of like, well, combat is not really a big part of Mirror's Edge. So let's just make it one-hit kills on enemies. Let's just like give you a fucking sword, and if you get to an enemy, you can just slice him up, and he's dead.
Yep.
The wall running is really good. The abilities are really fun to use. It's hard. It's definitely difficult, but it has the thing where you get hit, you die, you hit the button, it restarts immediately. No load screens. Like you jump straight back into the action. You're like, okay, I'm gonna run this 10-second segment where I'm gonna jump between walls, kill this enemy, block these bullets with a sword, slow down time to dodge around something, slash a guy in the back, parry a dude, grab the shuriken power up and throw it at this guy, and then just do some parkour platforming. I'm gonna fucking nail that. It's gonna take 20 seconds, and I'm gonna run it a few times till I nail it. It is so fucking good.
I don't know why I haven't started it because, like, I mean, going back to it, my favorite games are Sunset Overdrive and Titanfall.
Yeah, it has a lot of like Titanfall energy into it, but obviously mostly melee combat. And the DLC is interesting as well. Gives you a different character to play as with different abilities. Which is interesting. So like you have like a larger jump, and like you kind of have like a leap ability, but you have less like other special abilities to kind of lean on. And it's only like 6 levels or 7 levels, but each of the levels was like the checkpointing is really, really good. The achievements are all pretty obtainable. There's only like 1 or 2 that are quite difficult that you can kind of cheese a little bit. Highly recommend it. It's the ratio is about right. It's like a 2.2 or something, which I think is probably about where it should be. But I finished it in like 9 hours or so, and like the estimate I think is like 15. You can easily do it in less than that. There's also some assist mode stuff. The one thing I'd say is be careful of the assist mode for the collectibles. Apparently, on I think it's like level 15, if you're getting the collectibles for the base game, play that last level on normal, because apparently if you're playing on assist mode, the achievements for picking up each individual type of collectible, all of them, won't pop. So just you can do the rest of the game on assist mode if you want, but just make sure to change it before you pick up the last stuff. Great game.
Are you gonna pick up Ghost Runner 2 in October?
I'm thinking about it. Yeah. I'll obviously want to have a look at the list and the reviews and stuff, but if it's half as good as this one, I'll be fucking super into it.
Have they had people playing that already? Do we know what that's
October
like?
24th is release date.
Oh, so yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, so it's a few days.
Very close. Yeah, it's.
I don't see you starting it though before we're a long way too.
It's the same day as Just Dance and the Metal Gear collection.
Yeah, right. Fuck, it's gonna be.
I want to get the Metal Gear collection as well.
I'm considering. I want to see the list first.
I want to complete disc 2 of the first game.
Yeah, actually, going back to the first game would be great. Tell me about Resident Evil, Kia.
All right. So, over the last couple of weeks, I'd been talking about how I was going back and doing some of the bucket list multiplayer games that I never ever got to. Now, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. There are many reasons to not play this game.
Yes, agreed.
But there are also it makes it even harder when it's the Games Windows Live version of the game. So I bought this game on release on PC, and I had like an old Toshiba gaming laptop, and I tried to play this game, but the unfortunate thing about the legacy of the Resident Evil games is they started added button mashing timed based events, and this game was notorious. The speed that you had to press the buttons to get out of the Titan's grip in one of those first couple of levels, I think it was might have even been the first level, did not match the frames per second that my computer were allowing for.
Oof, big oof.
So, so I put this game down and never picked it back up again. So finally, after many, many years, have gone and actually finally completed the multiplayer in this. I'm down to just doing the 98 matches you have to do, which is quite easy. So you can get everything in a couple of hours. There's a couple of 5-player achievements that you have to go in, and it's really just a group of 4 versus a group of 1. And you have to like survivor mode and stuff like that. So very, very easy. And then you have to have someone like it's typical Resident Evil versus stuff where it's like melee, close quarter combat, people 10 times. So there's a 5 times, a 10 times, and stuff like that. And now I just have the 98 matches, which is go into a particular mode, the hero mode, and you can do just a 1v1, and as soon as the other hero is dead, it's all over. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so finally, I wanted to bring it up because it's one of my bucket list multiplayer things. I need to go and do the 360 stuff, which by the way is on sale this week, and the DLC.
I own it, so if you need someone to
I do. I
be
need
a
5
body
people,
for it, I'm
and
happy
I've
to
got
help.
like 2 or 3. I think Todd and I've got another friend that wants to do it as well. So we could nearly have 5 people. I think the guy that I'm playing with actually needs to do it as well. So we might have 5. So yeah, so the unfortunate thing with the game is you have to upgrade every single weapon to its maximum, and you get enough. So it's that thing where the experience points that you earn as you level up are the things that you use the currency to buy the weapons. And we worked out that you have to get to about level 75 to have everything. So you're like a couple of multiplayer matches shy of level 75 to unlock everything. So, and that's the grindy bit, unfortunately. But yeah, so now I'm more motivated to go and actually complete the story in this because I've never done that either. But I mean, Resident Evil and playing with AI co-op is, AI, 3 NPC AI characters running around with you is not ideal at all. And we all know what Shiva's like in 5, so it didn't get any better with this game. So, yeah,
good
so
luck.
that's
Good luck with that one. Yeah, I've still got
yeah.
I've got a little bit left to do on the 360 that I need to complete, but I don't know if I'll ever get back to it.
Yeah.
And then you've been playing a bit more Lies of P, as you can see in your background.
Yes, so I've still got Lies of P going, so I'm up to my 3rd playthrough now. So, with the 2nd playthrough, by the time we did the podcast last week, I basically steamrolled through the first half of the game the 2nd time, and then it started to really slow down by the end of the game. So yesterday I managed to get the final boss done, but I'm down 1 achievement. Essentially, I have to play through the game a 3rd time, because there is a character that you have to. Well, I mean, I screwed it up the first time, and there's a collectible you have to get by making a certain decision, and then saying a particular thing to a character, but after you looked at a collectible. So you had to get an item, read the whole thing, and then talk to the character after you read the thing. But if you talk to the character before you read the collectible, you don't get the option to say that particular thing to this character. So I messed that up the first time. So I didn't get the collectible that I wanted because you have to collect all of the records, and that's where you get one of the records. And then the other option for that was basically because you're lying and saying either lying or saying the truth to all the characters, right? And you had to say the other option. And I'd started the game, I went to sleep one night at the save point where I'm like, right, I've defeated this particular boss, and now I've got the option to do this, wake up in the morning, jump back into the game, and my idea was to, do one side, and then because it was going to be the second time I played through the game, I'm like, right, well, I'll do the Xbox save thing where I can kind of just go and quickly get the other achievement. Guess who forgot to do that and then moved on to the next checkpoint?
Oh, boy.
And I realized that I'd gone slightly too far. It had saved a cloud save, and I couldn't go back. So now I'm doing a run through the game again, a third time. It's not. I decided that if I'm going to do it a third time, I'm gonna take a little bit longer with this one because I might actually use it as a stream game now. Because I've done it twice, I'm geared up for it. I know how to defeat the bosses, and I'm not terrible at the parry and guarding at all. And that might pay to my advantage a little bit. New game, maybe relatively good at it. Maybe I can, get something out of that. I don't know. But the good thing about the second and the third playthrough is that when you play the game the first time, you have a thing called the P organ. So you meet, it's not so much a spoiler, you meet Geppetto basically a few chapters into the game. You get another option to unlock the P organ. It's like one of the main upgrade effects. And if you need to know what it is, it essentially looks like, if you've played Final Fantasy X, it's like the sphere grid. Essentially, where it's like you have like an orb and then it breaks into 4 pieces. Well, I mean, as you upgrade it, it's like it has 2 slots. You need to upgrade 2 of those sections, 2 of the 4 sections to unlock phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, phase 5. And then by the time you get to, I think, phase 2 or 3, you need 3 quartz. That's the currency. So phase 1, you need 2 quartz, 4 quartz essentially, to get to do that whole section, to unlock the next section. There's still more you can do, and then you need more and more as you go up. But in the second playthrough, you go from having 5 quartz to 6 quartz. Yeah, P organ. It's so good that it's actually called the P organ.
It is very much called the P organ, and no one makes a joke about it at all, which is just
I know.
ridiculous.
It's yeah. So
they didn't need to call it the P organ. Why? Anyway, yeah.
Translation.
Anyway,
It'll be a translation thing.
Anyway, so first playthrough you get a maximum of 5 phases, and then in the second playthrough you get 6. So they actually unlock another part of the grid. And then going into New Game Plus Plus, they unlock a 7th,
which has some really good stuff in it.
Yeah, did you see the New Game Plus Plus stuff?
Yes, I obviously don't have it because I didn't go that far.
Yeah,
but yes.
So on that, I luckily had 4 quartz, so I was able to unlock like all of the good stuff. Essentially, you get the Fury Attack Guard, which basically means that if anyone's seen the game, the enemies glow red like Wolong, where you know they're going to do an unblockable attack. You could now just guard to block those attacks. Which is fantastic, because if you're horrendous at blocking and guarding, all you have to do is play the game twice to actually have an option.
You just had to finish the game twice.
You have to finish the game twice to get the best ability in the game. You're fine. And then the perks that came along with that was the great ones, the good ones. Enhancing charge attack. Again, so you never got that really until now, because you also get more options when you get the new phase as well. So they give you some more options with that too. Complete recovery of guard regain upon guarding a fury attack. And if you're just guarding to get if you don't have to do a perfect guard now, you're guarding it like no matter what. So you'll get that anyway. Perfect guard uses no stamina.
That's insane.
And it charges Legion every time you use a pulse cell, which is basically a heal ability, like it's like the flasks or whatever they're in Dark Souls and stuff like that. So, and that's fantastic. So hopefully, now I haven't really had a chance to use these against a boss because I only just unlocked those abilities, but that's gonna make things look a little bit easier for the third playthrough, instead of doing. I know some people that are like, well, I'll just start a new game. I don't want the bosses to be even harder. but hopefully this is going to make it a little bit better.
I'm curious to see how you go with the New Game
We will
Plus difficulty,
see.
because that
Yeah.
stat scaling stuff that we talked about last week, I think is going to
Yes.
be even more of an issue now.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. And I have felt it a little bit more, because I'm at a hard point where I'm not getting much for my extra. So really where I've started, I've taken my medals and I put on like the one that gives you extra ergo and stuff like that early game, just to kind of bump up some ergo, just to get a few extra stat points. But I don't have any room left. I'm like level 199 now,
Wow. Yeah.
and
Okay.
I have no room left outside of like single stat upgrades every time I add a point. So
Yeah.
yeah. Mm.
All right. Oh, good luck. I mean, yeah, I'll have to
Yeah.
check in
Yeah.
with see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then I will quickly touch on the thing that I've been playing. Again, like I said, it's been a busy week for me. I finished Dead Space. I got into Ghost Runner, and then I need to get my next fix. Decided to go with the other game that I was gifted years ago, with Sekiro or Sekiro. This game's fucking incredible. Holy shit. I mean, of course it is, right? It won Game of the Year 2019. Dark Souls-esque, but with, I'd say, probably a higher skill ceiling. This is a get good game.
Isn't this the get good game?
Probably, yeah, actually. In terms of like Dark Souls, you can kind of like, hey, you've got different weapon builds. You can kind of like go magic or go this. You can kind of spend some time grinding to level up. There are elements of that in this where it's like you basically, if you want to increase your health, you need to collect 4 of an item, and there's only 40 of them in the game. And they drop usually by mini bosses that you have to beat that are quite difficult. If you want to level up your damage, you basically need to beat one of the major bosses, and then you get one increase to your damage, and that's it. And I think there's like 10 of them in the game. I've beaten 5, so I'm about halfway through. And if you want to, but then you also have like skills, like things that'll improve, like, hey, like you'll take, it'll be when you do like a fatal blow on an enemy, you'll get some health back, or you'll be harder to spot when you're stealthing. So like things that kind of even out the edges a little bit around it, but they don't make massive differences in terms of like your stats. And then you also have shinobi tools that are around, like, hey, let's use like, if you've got like a shuriken ability, kind of, it's very similar to Liza P in terms of like having like a side ability that you can kind of equip to change up combat a little bit, or to like add some extra flavor, or some like, you've got the one I always use is the firecrackers to like stun an enemy for a moment to get some easy hits in. This game's fucking great. This game is in 3 kind of parts in terms of like, where the difficulty filters are. And as far as I'm aware, again, this is my first time playing through it, but obviously I played all the other FromSoft games. I'm very, very invested. I've seen the memes when the game came out. I was very, very worried about there's kind of where the rubber hits the road in the third major boss that you fight, is basically like a 3-phase fight, which is the first 3-phase fight in the game, and it's like quite difficult. Managed to beat it in the first fucking try.
Nice.
And I had like a sliver of health left. I had no healing items left. But it was a fucking amazing feeling at like 11:30 last night, where I fucking just took him down. And I've sort of been progressing through the game. I've done like another 2 big major boss fights after that, and I'm on to the next kind of filter, which is the Great Ape, the Ape Guardian, which people I'm sure have seen, where the classic thing is that you saw like there was a lot of videos and GIFs of people being like, I fucking beat him, he's dead. And it's his like shinobi execution. And then you cut his head off and he's fucking dead. And then he picks up his fucking head, gets back up, and you got to fight him a whole nother phase again. And I'm literally standing at the save point ready to jump into the arena to fight him. I am absolutely dreading it. But this game is great. Exploration-wise, it's obviously a lot more freeform than your traditional Souls games in terms of like there's a lot more verticality because you have like a literal jump. You have like a hanging mechanic. There's a stealth system. There isn't like the Souls grinding mentality as much. Like you can grind for skills and currency, but the game is also a lot more brutal in terms of like if you die, when you die, you have a 1 free resurrection that brings you back up at like half health. And then if you do like a death blow on an enemy, sometimes you can gain a couple of extra ones. But otherwise you need to restore it at like a checkpoint. But if you die, like you actually die without a resurrection, you lose half of your experience to your next level, and you lose half of your money. You just lose it. Not like, oh, you can go back and collect it. Like it's just gone.
Okay.
So if you're gonna there's a thing where you're like, hey, I'm like 75% of the way to a level. I'm just gonna grind some enemies to make sure that I hit that next level because you can't lose a
at
level.
least. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's really really fun though. It is very much like the deflection and parry thing of like Lies of P is very much like this is where that is from. I think it's maybe a little bit more forgiving in that regard. I also really like the mechanic of the thing about Lies of P is that you can like perfect guard enemies and eventually get them into like a staggered state, but there's no real indication of when they're going to hit that staggered state unless you kind of keep it in your head. Whereas each enemy here has like a stagger bar. And so you can either like when you're attacking, if they're blocking, they're taking stagger damage. And if you're deflecting, like if you block, you take stagger damage. But if you deflect, they take heavy stagger damage. And so you kind of have a choice of like if their stagger bar hits full, then they get stunned and you can do a death blow to kill them. Or in some cases, the boss moves them on to the next phase. Or you can take their health down. But sometimes like that, so like if the enemy is like very block heavy, then you want to try and hit their stagger bar. If they're like less blocky but more dodgy, then you probably want to be trying to take their health down. And the lower the health, the slower that their stagger bar degrades. So there's kind of like a balance of like, okay, do I want to try and get in and do some chip damage to make sure that when they get staggered, like the stagger bar goes up, it doesn't start going down too quickly? Or do I just want to start deflecting, and trying to just max them out, depending on the type of enemy you're fighting? Because there were some enemies where you just like, there was a mini boss that I fought that I died on. I died on more than some of the actual regular bosses, where I was like, oh, I was trying to get in there and attack, and she does this thing where she just like turns into a ghost and then will reappear, be solid when she's doing her attack. And I'm just getting completely fucked up. So I was like, I just like took a moment, stood there and just was like patient, deflect, and then like jump, kick in the face, deflect, and eventually just tired her out and was able to kill her in a single hit. This game is fucking fantastic.
I'm very interested in going back and playing some of these Souls-like games now, actually.
Yeah.
So
I think Sekiro would be a really good one to do after
I'm very tempted.
The only downside to them is like the missables. There needs to be like more Souls-like games that don't have missables.
Yeah, I like the Sekiro is I think a little better than some other games for that. There is actually an area where when areas get like closed off or change or like whatever,
right,
there's an item box where you can actually go and buy the stuff that's disappeared. So like it definitely has more of the quality of life stuff. There is a few things around like, you know, if you want to get some of the endings or whatever, but there's a very, very good walkthrough on TA. The TA walkthrough is fucking fantastic, as most of the From Software games have. But I know what you mean. It is like there's definitely a lot of this. It's quite esoteric, and like I said, with like the navigation stuff, because you have a grappling hook and you can kind of jump up in verticality and like climb and shimmy around. It's a lot less clear.
Yeah.
Like Lies of P is like a linear game. Dark Souls is somewhat linear, but with like other paths, you kind of have some free reign. This is much more open, where it's like, hey, find your secret passages, make sure you're looking up, looking down.
Yeah,
like,
but they're going to be on cliffs, and there's a chance that you're not going to.
Yeah, real easy to miss stuff. In terms of, but like not like achievement-wise stuff, but in terms of like just like playing through.
Yeah.
Like fantastic game though, like 5 out of 5. I know that like the sort of the big change in this, again, like FromSoft games have a lot of the stuff where it's like, hey, you get to the halfway point of the objective and then you have like a new set of objectives. I know that after the Guardian 8, like things change up and like the second half of the game sort of kicks in. We're just going to see how long it takes me to get past the Guardian 8. I am dreading it a little bit, but I'm very, very excited. Fantastic game so far. I'll probably have more to report on it next week.
Cool.
All right. I'll just quickly go through the leaderboards. We've got Jimbot UK with 6,625. We've got Kruger with 9,600, but just edging him out, we've got Mad Mike with 9,630 points this week.
Nice.
So great work, guys. Keo, do you want to read out the completions?
Yeah, so Shattered Sly has Assault Heroes 2 and Slender the Arrival. Souls and Scares has Banjo-Tooie. Moonzom has Grizz. Firehawk has his 3,950 day streak and Signalis. And Professor Pluto hit 1 million gamer score and is the first person to complete Last Stand at the same time. Was that Last Stand Aftermath?
Yeah.
That was the whole title.
Version of it,
Yeah. So that is massive to have like a whole bunch of milestones at the same time. That was great.
He fucking loves that game. He might be the only person.
Yeah. Rapture did Gris, K79 1998 did GTA San Andreas, and Monkeys did Liza B.
Cool.
Great work,
That's it.
guys.
Yeah.
We also have the word challenge, everyone's favorite competition that we run, where I come up with a game and everyone has to guess what it is after giving you guys some clues. If you don't know what that's about, go check out our Discord. We have a channel in there where you can basically put the name of the game in. And if a gift pops up, you win a prize, usually either a code for the game or like a $20 gift card or something along those lines. So the clues I'd given were that we had a winner, Left for Legacy won. But the clues I'd given was the game contains books, contains RPG mechanics, contains knights, and contains achievements that Neomaster has not unlocked yet. So it's on my my backlog. And Left 4 Legacy got it right with Spellspire, just a little bit after the release of the episode last week. Spellspire?
Yeah, never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know it either, actually.
10 Tons, the guys who they've done a few games actually. They did was it Lovecraft versus Tesla or whatever it was?
Okay. Yeah, right.
So Spellspire is like a side-scrolling RPG kind of thing, where essentially you're kind of like an endless runner where you're kind of going from left to right. Yep. And you essentially counter enemies, and you have to basically spell words like Scrabble. They give you a Scrabble word. You basically need to spell like words that have the highest value to do damage to the enemies. Okay. But you also have like books that can do like protection spells or like elemental damage or like, there's a lot of stuff in there. There's like delay the enemy's turn. It's quite difficult.
Yeah. Is that a PC game?
It's on PC, I believe, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you do that on Xbox? It brings up the chat like text.
Yeah. Well, it's like they give you like the tiles. So you need to quickly move the tiles and spell stuff.
I'm like, you press the chat menu. It brings up the whole keyboard. Manually type in the the word you need.
So it's in a similar vein to like Letters Grim, yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yes, very much. Yeah, Letterquest. Yeah.
Letterquest. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that was a good game.
Yeah, like very, very much in that kind of vein, but it is also quite grindy. There is an endless dungeon once you finish the tower, which I kind of played a little bit of, but I got burnt out on it pretty quick. So one of these days I will get back to it. We'll have a new game for you guys next week.
Very cool.
Cameron, you want to do the Patreon shoutouts?
All right, let me get through. So we have Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natalator, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pern, Cavalier 07, Old McClown, Mark B, McLovin Legend, Message, and Left for Legacy. Yeah,
thanks, guys. Like we say every week, we could not afford to do the show without you guys. And if any of you listening want to support the show, patreon.com/HallOfGamers. We do have some extra content in terms of like sort of pre and post show stuff that I put together and put out each week. And we're also looking at doing some spoiler casts for some of the Game of the Year stuff. So we're looking to do one for Starfield. I imagine we might do one for Alan Wake.
Yeah, Alan Wake, definitely.
Yeah. So any kind of extra.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, there is some interesting stuff in there. But yeah, anything that's kind of worth talking about, or any kind of extra content we put up on there. So feel free to check it out. We don't get any of the content, whether you're a $2 subscriber or a $10, like whatever. Again, every little bit helps pay for things like Zoom licenses and hosting for the podcast audio feed and equipment and all that kind of stuff. And that's kind of going to bring us towards the end of the show. As always, we do the show live on Twitch. Like we said at the top of the show, Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Come say hi, hang out with us. And if you want to come hang out with us in other ways, what else have you guys got going on? Cameron, what have you got?
I don't know. I'm going to be streaming Man of Medan tomorrow, actually, with my friend.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah, we're just going to do a completely blind playthrough starting off. Actually, We're probably going to do blind playthroughs for all the games and then go back and do the cleanup. So it'll be very interesting to see if I can keep people alive. Yeah, that's good.
I highly doubt it.
Yeah, I get the same feeling. But and then I'm planning to do Alan Wake Remastered sometime this week. Shadowless Edge on anything or one word.
Amazing. Kia, what about you?
Cool. You can catch my Twitch channel as well when I start streaming again very, very soon at Keel Live at Home. You can catch my notifications for the tweets on Twitter, for my streams on Twitter at Keel Live at Home. And then I have a YouTube channel where I have basically the VODs for the streams and a couple of other things at HDFG Play on YouTube.
Fantastic. I don't do anything in terms of streaming or any stuff. I'm Neomaster on everything. But yeah, if you're listening to the show, make sure if you want to check out the VOD, it'll be on Twitch for a little bit. Otherwise, check out our YouTube channel. That's where I do a little bit of editing, upload it, put a nice thumbnail on it. Big thanks to Char for doing those. And so you can just, if you ever want to go and check out the backlog of episodes and see our beautiful faces and all the visual gags that we do, that's the best place to find us. We do have a few people who watch it, but it's mostly for archive purposes. But I figured I'd give it a shout out here at the end of the show. Well, that's going to be episode 98. Next week, we're going to be doing the show on the Saturday as opposed to the Friday, because we're going to looking to have a special guest on, a good friend of the show. I won't say quite yet because we haven't quite finalized it, but should be a good one. Thank you all for listening. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.